Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny, and I'm here with.
Hello, I'm Banana Chan. My pronouns are she, they, and he. And I think this is like, I don't know what number of episode this is now that I've been on. But thank you so much for always inviting me back on. It's always so much fun chatting with you.
Definitely, I've been meaning to reach out to you because it seems like every time between interviews, you put out 2 to 3 projects, and I'm always like late in finding out about them. And I will maybe one day I'll put a schedule together so we could talk
Oh
about
gosh.
so many things you've worked on from your own personal projects, your own or I should say your own creative works to stuff like what Chucky and Betrayal on House on the Haunted Hill books
Yeah, yeah.
games.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's been like so my secret is that a lot of the stuff has been worked on like in previous years, and now everything's starting to get published and now everything's like starting to come out. So yeah, a lot of the stuff was like worked on ages ago and now it's like, okay, we're here. So that's a
Are,
part
are,
of why everything's coming out in succession like that.
are you, if I may ask, are you enjoying the amount of creative works you've been working on so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I've just been really enjoying, like, the creative process, being able to design. And, I'm lucky in that I get to do all these different types of projects with different types of scopes. So it's not like, I get to stick to one specific type of scope. I also get to like make my own games. I get to like, do something that's like a little bit weirder or more experimental. And so for me, I really enjoy getting the chance to do so many different types of things and also flex my muscles a little bit when it comes to being creative, right? And also just like, getting to know the different teams, like for Pathfinder, Paizo, like the team there is amazing. I always love working with them. And so getting a chance to see what other companies are doing, what other projects are out there, like it's always eye-opening and just like fun, right? So yeah.
So today we're going to talk about Pathfinder Second Edition, the Tian Xia
Mhm.
World Guide from the Lost Armament series. Um, I believe this is the first Asian mythology inspired high fantasy setting that we've received uh, for a long time. I think I mean, we all know Oriental Adventures from D&D back in the '80s,
Mhm.
and there's been some different works here and there, but especially for Pathfinder, especially for the world of Galarian, this is their first setting based on this area, which they've been talking about forever. I even think the one of the adventure books, the Phoenix Fists adventure book series,
Mhm.
was out even before the setting book came out. So I'm really glad this is out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a little sad that I feel like this is being overshadowed a bit from all the new player handbooks and new core rule
Oh.
books that are coming out this year. Um,
Mhm.
but so let me ask you this first. Do you remember first being introduced to this setting?
Yes. So I think I got tagged onto the project actually, ooh, I want to say like a year and a half ago. Or actually a little bit longer than that. I think it's been a while. So if my memory is a little bit spotty on like what I wrote on the book or like what were some of the specifics, it's because it's been a while. And I think there was a little bit of a reason why they delayed the release of the book. I think they were, a lot of things were happening. And so there was a little bit of a delay. But in terms of writing for this book, I remember, I think it was James Case who reached out to me and he was just like, hey, really enjoyed working with you in the past. Let's do something again. And I was like, heck yeah, like I'd be happy to. And yeah, just like seeing everyone that's like listed in the credits, it just makes me really happy to see all these different writers, and they're all so cool, and they've done such like amazing work. Like some of the people are really prolific. I believe Daniel Kwan was like one of the writers as well. So yeah, it's just exciting to see all the other names on the book.
When it comes to the content written for this, now you're a part of a team.
Mhm.
How does subject matter get selected? Do you propose the idea of maybe certain ideas or monsters or things like that? Or do they propose ideas and you kind of say yes or no to that? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, so there are two different types of ways that it sort of works. So the assignments, the book itself, it gets broken down into chapters. It's broken down into the different monsters that they have, the different creatures that they have, scenarios, sorry, like adventures and things like that. And based on what they have, you sort of get to pick and choose like what sections you want to write, right? So there's already predetermined assignments that are built into the book that people can pick and choose from. So that's the first part. And then the other thing is that there might be some spots where they're just like, oh, we're not too sure like what to add here. If you have like a pitch, feel free to pitch us an idea. Feel free to pitch us like a creature or like a monster or a feat or something like that, right? And so I was able to actually pitch a pretty cool monster. It's kind of like a ridiculous monster, but like I love it. And so I was just like, hey, I want to do this like really weird monster. Like, would you let me do it? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So that's another one of the reasons why I like working with them so much. It's just because, like James, when I pitch him like ridiculous things, he's usually just like, this is a great idea. Like, let's go for it. So yeah, they're very kind and they're very generous when it comes to letting me do the weird things I want to do.
Now, just to let viewers know, I haven't looked deeply into the World Guides yet. I just received a copy
Mhm.
recently from Paizo. Thank you, Paizo. I know it's been a while since you contributed to this book. Do you tend to recall what you added? What have you made, setting wise,
Yes.
creature wise?
I looked it up. I looked through the text, and the creature that I was telling you about earlier was it's called the Great Flood, and it's a monster. I believe it's. Let me just take a look real quick. It's a 20. Wow. Okay, it's pretty high up there. So it is it's a huge, it's a gargantuan aquatic monster. And so it's inspired by this creature called the mythological creature called the Xiangliu. And basically, what it is, it's a giant snake with 9 different human heads on it. And so where the snake head would be is just like a pile of human heads. So in terms of like if you see a picture of it, you'd be like, this is kind of silly looking. But if you imagine it in real life, you'd be like, this is terrifying, because they're, the body horror element of like, it's a whole bunch of heads attached to a serpent. And so I've always really been like interested in this creature. Like the mythology is really cool. I think like just the look of it is really cool. And so I wanted to integrate that into Tian Xia. And so that's why it's called the so backing up a little bit, it's called the Great Flood because in the mythology it causes floods, and it also uh, poisons the water, and it's a monster, right? Like in real life mythology, it's like it's not the best creature. It's kind of actually pretty scary, and so I want to do something that was inspired by that. It has 9 different heads, so each different head has like a different thing that it could do. So it could, you know, create poison, like it can like poison the waters. It has bitter breath. It has, bad jokes. It'll literally tell you bad jokes. Like that's one of the things that it can do. And so I wanted to do something that was like that, where it's like, each head has its own different personality. They all have like different, different things that I can do. But mostly just like, trying to play with that whole, like, this is a creature that's very, it's got like a push and pull in terms of its personality. Like one's a perfectionist, the other one's like aloof, the other one's like assertive. One of them's like playful. And then like another one's like a people pleaser. And so like, I wanted to do something that was like dark comedy, but at the same time, it's like a very terrifying creature in general.
Sometimes when we look back and study mythology, we start to see a lot of what the meanings are behind them. Usually, it would be humanity's way at the time of trying to explain nature or the things
Mm.
going on around them. Um, for this creature, what do you think? Do you think it had a deeper meaning um, in mythology? Did it serve a purpose to to those that heard the tales?
Yeah, I think there are two ways I can answer this question. So I think if we're looking at the past and why it was introduced into mythology, why it was created, I think that it probably had a lot to do with, um, people's fears about nature, right? Like there's that push and pull of like there are all these human heads that are attached to this, snake-like body, and there's that, that's push and pull of like, are we doing too much to nature? Are we getting like, um, like are we getting destroyed as a result of how poorly we've been treating like the land around us? And so there's that sort of thinking of like maybe that's what people were thinking of when they were creating this monster. I think for me, when I was thinking about it, going through the Great Flood, when I was like writing about it for Tian Xia, I was thinking a lot about social media. And so, like, the different personalities that you would face and the different aspects of humanity that you might encounter on social media, and how at the end of the day it does feel destructive. And so that's sort of what I was thinking when I was writing this creature.
So when you participated in this book, did you? How does it work exactly? Do you talk to other writers as well? How does
Yeah.
things become finalized?
Yeah, so we had, do we have Slack or do we have Discord? It was like one of those types of platforms where we had a chance to see what other people were doing, other people were working on, and also share our ideas so that way other people can like take a look at it and see like, what I was doing. And so there was a little bit of collaboration in that sense where, um, you know, some folks would basically like share their ideas, and others would be like, oh, maybe it's too similar, or maybe we can integrate those two ideas together and try to create something out of that. Um, so there was like a shared sort of space where we could talk to one another and see what everyone's up to. So there was definitely that. And then on top of all of that, we had like, our editors, we had, the folks that work at Paizo that were able to be support and, give us guidance when it comes to what is, what makes sense in the Pathfinder mythology, or what makes sense to um, mechanically. And so they could definitely like give us advice there.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us
Yeah.
about your contributions to the Tian Xia World Guide for Pathfinder Second Edition. Are you doing any more work for Pathfinder currently?
Not right now. No, right now I'm focusing mostly on like stuff that like my own work. So we have John Should Blend the Banquet Hall that's coming out soon. That second printing is coming out. I have another solo journaling RPG that's coming out hopefully sometime soon. I'm going to New York Fashion Week in September, so I'm very excited for that. Mostly to do research, but also to have a good time while I'm there. Um, and I'm trying to think, like, what else am I up to? So the game that I'm working on, like the solo journaling RPG, that's like a sequel to Forgery from before. So now I'm doing Knockoff, which is about fashion. Forgery was about art. So you're an art forger and you've been commissioned to like recreate a cursed painting, and you like bring a demon to life, and the demon gives you like everything that you want. And the knockoff is about the same demon, but in this sense, it's like you're creating like this cursed dress. And this dress, as you're like creating this dress, the demon comes about and like gives you everything you want. Similar sort of themes, but in Forgery, I feel like the themes were more around how do I survive as an artist, and then the themes around for sorry for Forgery, it's like how do I survive as an artist. For Knockoff, it's how do I continue to make art, how do I stay fresh, um how do I do my own thing, how do I find my own voice. And then I have a third game that's coming out in that series called Sample, which is about music. And for that one, it's about how do I stay relevant as an artist. And so that's going to be like the last game in the trilogy. And other than that, yeah, trying to wrap up a couple of screenplays, trying to finish up a small game that's going to be based off of The Darkness at the Brink of Ohio, which is my solo journaling game about working late night and you're listening to a radio DJ and it's got a soundtrack. So, yeah, a lot of projects. I'm working on a lot of weird things.
Oh wow. I definitely gotta do a better job in keeping track of what you're working on because I'd love to talk to you about everything you just mentioned. Um, so yeah, again, thank you for your time, and I'll do my best to put the links to all that in the description below. And viewers, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Let us know what you find best about this world guide. I'm curious to know what calls to you when you've been reading this. So yeah, again, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.